Hey, I want to thank you for being here. You can get more conversations just like this one on arrow.net, ARROE.net. It's time to play it forward. These are real people, real stories, the struggle to play it forward. Episode number 546 is with singer-songwriter Jessie Haines.
Good morning. I think this is the right time. I must have been just so excited to talk to you. I couldn't wait the extra half hour.
You know, it makes it so much more fun when the artist or the creative person on the other side really wants to help share their story, because I love that, because my mantra is share your story or someone will write it for you. So it's fun to hear your energy on that side.
Yeah. I'm super pumped, man. I have this new single out, and it's only the third song out of 8. So I'm just like running in place here. I'm
long enough to where, I mean, it's way back in the 1980s when Mickey Gilley would stop by the radio station. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that country music artists have always done. It's that Patsy Cline kind of a handshake. Hey, let's talk a little bit. Get to know me. Now play my song. Yeah,
it's kind of still like that a little bit. It's a little more political than that now, especially for independent artists. But what I'm finding is a lot of people in the industry are just excited and just enthused to help new artists that they believe in and that that they're excited about.
Well, it's such a great time to be in music, and the reason being is that in the old days, and I hate bringing up the old days all the time, but we had Music Land and we had Tower Records and stuff like that. To me, streaming and the web, that's the new record store, and that's where people are. They're constantly out there looking for new things.
It is. I couldn't agree with you more. I actually think this is the best time in music for independent artists, especially. I'm not on a label. I do everything. I have a team helping me, but we're not a record label, and I write all the music. I've got a producer that I work with locally, and studio musicians, and we're a little homegrown little village here, and the reality is the fans are just right there. So it's easier now to get the music and connect.
Yeah.
There's sort of the middleman is sort of out of the way, so to speak, and it's hard. There's a lot of artists out there. There's definitely a lot more competition, I would say, for people's attention and for their listening time. But I'm having a really, really amazing experience connecting with people about this music, and that's like the joy of the positive feedback loop, right? Like you make the music, you put your heart and soul into it, you capture a feeling, in a song, and then you cross your fingers and release it, and hope that somebody takes a listen and that maybe it resonates or they enjoy it, and then it's nice because now, because of social media, you get to actually hear back from people. And I'm getting messages every single day from people all around the world. I mean, across the globe, in New Zealand and South Africa and Germany, and I'm from New Jersey. I'm actually I'm not in New Jersey right now. I'm actually in the high desert of West Texas in my airstream, literally in my airstream, looking out at the desert right now. I'm traveling and I'm writing music out here, but it's just really such a cool and important tool. And I think that for the folks, for the young musicians who never knew a day without the internet, they just are having a hard time appreciating it the way I am appreciating it, and you, it sounds like.
Well, they call it Generation Alpha. That's after Generation Z, and they're focused in on them so closely because they were born 2010 forward. And so it's interesting how music is going to grow through Generation Alpha, because they're music fans already. I mean, at a young age, they're already into the music, and they're always just constantly pouring it into their ears.
Yeah, and what I'm learning too, because I'm always reading the Spotify blogs and everything, is catalog. Catalog is huge. Old back catalog, old songs, old music, especially 90s right now, 70s, 80s, 90s. I listen to so much 70s music myself, but back catalog is really important, and that's great. That's great for me to see, and that the classics are really holding up with the younger generation for sure.
You're in that Airstream. I'm also an RVer. Man, there is nothing like the soul of that ship, because to me that's where the creativity outlet really is inside that RV.
Yeah. I mean, when you're in a place where there's no Wi-Fi and no internet access, and you have your guitar, this is, it's kind of the whole point is, there's so many distractions when you're in civilization, and it's easy to just spend time doing other things. But I really feel like it's time for me to, get some more ideas out and get some more feelings out there. And, this album that I just recorded, it's 8 songs. It's my debut album, and all the songs are done. The last couple of songs are going to mastering right now, but it's a heavy album for me because it's about a toxic relationship, and sort of follows the arc from like the very beginning of it being in a lust state, and then ending up in a toxic position, and then figuring out that you need to leave, and actually doing the leaving and the healing. So that was a really huge journey for me. And now with new music, I think I'm excited to get some lighter stuff going.
Well, you know what they say about country music: if you play it backwards, you'll get everything back.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's talk about that song, I Love You. The opening of that song really shot me back to my childhood right away, because it sounds like you're scanning a radio dial. Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
That's what I did as a kid.
Yeah, because the song itself does have, like I said, I grew up on a lot of 70s music, and that particular song, the way we produced it, just has sort of like a vintage soul vibe to it. And I grew up listening to the Allman Brothers and the Eagles and the Doobie Brothers and, Hall & Oates and you name it. And soul music. Oh my gosh, I love soul music and Motown.
Are you hoping the song I Love You becomes a wedding song?
We'll see. I think any song of the year would be great. I think the feedback that I'm getting on it so far has been really positive, and it's different. I mean, it definitely has a different sound to it, different than a lot of country music for sure. It kind of has that sort of, went in a little bit of a left direction. It's not your standard typical country sound, but yeah, it definitely does have that sort of like shimmery, sparkly, ethereal, it's a nice driving song too.
Well, the cool thing about country music these days is that thanks to people like Dan and Shay and people like that, is that they've opened the door for you to walk right into a top 40 station. I'm starting to hear a lot more country on those top 40 stations.
Yeah, it's beautiful. It's a really, really cool thing to see the crossover. And and I was into Shania Twain, and she was one of the top artists that did crossover. I would even consider Sheryl Crow as a crossover country artist.
Yeah.
And so, I definitely see myself in that crossover space for sure.
Speaking of crossing over, that the song Little Black, I mean, my God, there's an edge to this. I mean, that tests the rules of country music on this one.
Little black dress and a big night out. Yeah. That song was written because I was with a friend, and we were heading out, and this girl crossed the street, and we just, the lyric just like popped into my head, little black dress and a big night out. And then I actually wrote the song in the car, like on the spot in a couple minutes. It's just, the whole song just came to me. But yeah, that's a boot stomper. That's like, get on the bar in your cowgirl boots, stomp them, have a good time, throw back some shots of whiskey, and, and just tear it up. So
that's always been inspiring to me, the way that musicians and book authors can sit down and they can take a thought and build on it. And that's one of the reasons why on iHeartRadio I created a show called Stream Thinking. The goal is to start teaching other creative minds that stream thinking is so important. Trust it, build it, go with it.
It's a lot about, for me, songwriting has been the journey has been learning, practicing how to get out of your own way. Yeah. How to peel back the onion of yourself and just literally get out of your own way and just let the universe do its thing, and when you do that, I mean, honestly, that's how my melodies happen. They happen to me. Mm-hmm. I don't create my melodies. They come to me when I'm in the car or driving. It's usually when I'm in some kind of a meditative state, like in the car or in the shower or in a time when I'm not trying. It's when I try that I end up struggling with getting the melody right or getting the writing or the lyrics right. And, and that's really, as a creative, I think that's the practice is, just becoming available to, I'm a spiritual person, so I'm going to say things like infinite intelligence. Yeah. Some people say God, whatever name you want to use, but it's bigger than me, for sure. It's the melodies and the music is bigger than me. That's
why I take a transition walk every day right through this forest in South Charlotte. I've got to go out into this forest with no digital devices, and I've got to let nature move through me.
100%. Yeah, it's really so important. And like I said, it's a practice. You can stay open and then you can get stressed out and you can close up. But the practice is definitely, as a creative and as someone, especially a songwriter, in my opinion, the practice is staying open to all of the beautiful ideas that are out there. Yeah. Pharrell, I just watched a podcast, listened to a podcast. Pharrell talks about this too. He calls it the universal library. And he said, if you're creative and you've been lucky enough to be gifted the library card, use it every day to check out ideas. And I think it's such a cool way to think about it.
The song, The Way You Kiss. I mean, this one, instantly you want to sing right along with it. I mean, have you played this one live yet?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the band on all of these songs it really brings the songs to life. But so that song actually, speaking of radio, that song actually charted. Nice. So we got that song on Music Row chart, and that was a cool, as an independent artist, that felt like a cool feather in the cap for the first release to chart on the radio and kind of get out there. We did a really, really cool music video for it that's out on YouTube that I'm very, very proud of. I'm part of the LGBTQ community, which is, I'd say, queer artists in country music it's a small community, but the listenership and the fan base, they're out there. Out there, man. They are out there, and they are so happy about the representation. And there's some other wonderful artists out there who are also, part of the queer community and in country music doing it, like Lily Rose and Brooke Eden, Angie Kay. I think I'm one of the newer members of the group, but I'm happy to be part of it. And so the music video that we did is same-sex like romance video. Yeah.
Well, right away you take me back to that documentary that was released this year about Katie Lang and the battles that she had to go through in order to put her music out there.
Oh wow, I haven't seen that, but I gotta check it out.
You have to. It's an experience. My God.
Wow. Right. And that was in a time, when Ellen DeGeneres was doing her thing too. Mm-hmm. That was in a time when it really wasn't gay, and music and media really was not sanctioned yet. Yep. So there's been definitely a lot of trailblazers, and my experience so far, and just going off of like I said, the feedback loop that I'm getting on social media, maybe one or two sort of a little bit off color remarks out of thousands and thousands and thousands of loving comments. So it's just really nice, and Nashville is a lot more open now. So I think it's a great time. It's really a great time for this, and I feel actually very honored to be in this position.
Oh, I love where your heart is. All right, Jessie, where can people find you? They need to show you some love. They need to give you some support, and they need to find out where you're playing.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's do the online stuff. I mean, online, we can stream anywhere, all online platforms. Instagram, I'm at the Jessie Haines, and that's the same for TikTok, YouTube, I'm all over the internet. As far as live shows, I'm working with my team right now to finish up booking schedule for this year. So we're going to be posting it on all the social media, and my website, which is jessiehaines.com, is a good place to stay tuned. But I really look forward to getting out there and getting on stages and getting in front of the crowds.
I love it. You got to come back to the show anytime in the future, Jessie. The door is always going to be open for you.
I would love to. Thank you so much for having me, Arl.
Well, you be brilliant today, okay?
You too.